All right, so we're
back live. The third stop of the GoPro IBA World Tour. This is the 10th annual Arica Chilean Challenge. I'm Eric Apple, joined by Sasha Specker. And Sasha, one of our better rider commentators I like to have in our booth. Very well versed and very experienced here on the webcast. And we have a countdown for our first heat of round number 3. Dave Winchester, Jacob Romero, and Roberto Bruno. And tell us about how this breaks down. We have 3 riders now instead of 4 like we've had in the rest of the heats.
Well, this is actually just, everything's exactly the same as in the 4-man heats. The only thing is only one guy loses. So, I mean, you got a, I don't know the maths is 100% here, but I think you got a 66.6% chance of going through, something like that. And, you know, Dave Winchester, Jacob Romero, and Roberto Bruno, all 3 of them have, I reckon, an equal chance right here. These guys are serious competitors, and they're going to be fighting for that slot into that round 4.
You know, I don't want to disagree with you, Sasha, but I'm going to say that I don't think these guys have an equal chance. I mean, Dave Winchester has really killed it here over the years, has some great battles with Guillermo Tamega. He's got first, second, third place. So, you know, competing against Dave Winchester, doesn't matter who you are. If you're Arica and you have Dave Winchester in your heat, that's a big deal, isn't it?
It definitely is a big deal. I definitely do agree with you on that. But I have seen what Jacob Romero is capable of.
No. Of course, these guys are capable of doing some amazing maneuvers in the best waves in the world. But Dave Winchester is one of the guys who seems to have this spot wired and is fearless here.
Absolutely. You know, I dread having him in a heat. Yeah. I had him in my first heat, and he did beat me quite easily. I was struggling to even find waves, and he seemed to just, you know, sneak past with some good rides. I mean, he is a very seasoned competitor out here, and he's very talented and has the inside info. You know, that's the feeling you get when you ride against him out here. He just feels comfortable, and he knows which ones are the good ones. Whereas half of us out here, we haven't spent the time that he has, and we haven't had as many good waves as him. So he definitely has the upper hand.
Well, it seems like when guys are competing against him out here, it's like everyone's just fighting for second place, and he's just out there hurting feelings.
Absolutely. And sometimes he is in a bit of a situation, but it seems like with 20 to 30 seconds.
Hot chocolate there, buddy?
I got a bit of coffee.
Oh.
I need it. I need a bit of a.
Look at that set these guys paddling over.
I'm gonna have to deal with that in a couple.
What do you need a pick me up for? Look at those waves, Sasha. You don't need a pick me up. That wave would get my adrenaline going.
No, it definitely will. I just want to try and get my heart pumping before I get out there. So no one's had a wave yet, and that's almost. Well, just over 2 minutes gone.
Did you see in the second round? I mean, we had one rider. I'm going to try to remember who it was. Alan Espinoza, who did not even catch a wave in his heat, and he's a Chilean rider.
I don't blame the guy, man. It's big out there. I mean, if it were to happen that one of these guys didn't catch a wave, and it's, you know, I know these are capable guys that are competent in solid big waves. You know, I wouldn't say anything. Wouldn't be able to say anything bad about that. It happens.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he was overwhelmed by just, you know, being in a competition with the best guys in the world, if he was afraid of catching a wave, or if he just, you know, was never able to get in the right position, or a combination of all those things. But it's definitely odd for a Chilean rider here at home, you know, looking to put on a show for his countrymen to not even attempt a wave or not even drop in on one wave.
I think it could be pretty difficult here to find a good wave. You know, that might be a huge challenge for the riders. And maybe Alan isn't quite as an experienced competitor, so he maybe didn't know that you know, a small score would have got him through, and that might have been the situation for him. I think he has a very bright future ahead of him. I saw him riding some of the early rounds, and I definitely think that was not the last that we were going to see of him.
Roberto Bruno, the Brazilian in blue, dropping in on the left.
Wow.
Sasha, what do we got? He's in a perfect position.
This is a pretty solid wave. He was kind of looking for a little section there, and then he just kind of trimmed into the pocket. It looks like he's just going to pull off there.
Nice forward air off the back of the wave, unfortunately for Roberto Bruno. And now in red, the man, the myth, Dave Winchester. Look at the barrel.
Wow, so he just scoops into that left. Quite easily comes out of it with the spit. And he's
What's he
going
to do? Oh!
And that one just pushed him out into the flats. Winnie just opening his account, very strong and controlled. I hope there isn't another big set coming through so these guys can make it back into the lineup. Both of them getting an okay wave. Winchester definitely getting the better of that exchange.
Yeah, you know, I was actually looking for Winnie to possibly try to. I thought he was going to duck out. You think he was going to duck out of that wave right there for a second?
Maybe. I think he might have been looking for another barrel. Here you can see him just scooping in. Excellent control, and just drags the legs to slow down and comes out kind of after the spit. I think he was looking for a little barrel there, just a little final shampoo rinse.
He thought he was going to be able to duck in there for a second, huh?
Exactly. But he did well, and he's definitely going to be rewarded handsomely for that. Jacob Romero out the back. He will have first priority now. He's waiting for his turn.
The Hawaiian being patient with his wave selection.
And, you know, strategy out here could play a huge role in success.
Of course. And a lot of people don't understand that there is wave priority, and, you know, there is such thing as interferences, and all that can play into the game.
Yeah, Jacob Romero, I mean, I think the Hawaiians are notorious for picking good waves. You know, they spend a lot of time in big, good surf, so they often know which wave is good and which wave looks good.
So the wave knowledge coming through there. And Roberto Bruno with that left-hander and the forward air off the back got a 3.13, and Dave Winchester with a nice barrel. Opening ride, a 6.13 for Dave Winchester. So Jacob Romero, he does have priority, and doesn't have a wave yet. He's going to start to play catch up right now. And, you know, we were talking about the rider in the second round. It was Alon Espinoza, the young Chilean. And one thing that might have played into it is he doesn't have that much experience. He's a rather young rider. So it's possible that all those things kind of overwhelmed him. Competing against the best in the world. He's he's in front of his friends and family and his homeland. He's a little bit nervous about that. The waves are big, hard to get position. It's kind of just been overwhelmed. And it's not. I mean, it's unfortunate for him, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for that to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, this can happen quite easily, and I think he's put on a great performance throughout the event so far, and he should be pretty happy and proud of where he's come to, and the performance that he has put on for all of us here, and especially for the
just
local
to get
crowd.
Here.
Exactly.
Looks like some sets coming in right now. Some serious waves coming in.
On your screen there, we had some of the lady competitors. They competed here a few days ago. They've come down today to watch the show. I was very impressed by what they put on. They definitely gave it a dig out here, and you know, my hat off to them. Well done, ladies.
Look at these sets rolling through. Now this one's coming a little bit more of the south, it seems like.
And the viewers here, what we see is what you see. So we kind of limited to that. I'm so tempted to just look out the side of the booth here and see the sets coming from further away in a slightly wider view. But maybe we can get the engine room to flick over to a different view for us, so we can have a slightly pulled back angle. That's a different angle there. That's kind of a camera angle looking from the right, you know, if you were looking into the right. And I think that's the angle we're going to see Jacob Romero on next.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that's what's going to happen. And the ocean is so live out here. I mean, when you're sitting out there, I noticed the other day, I had this seal following me. Not just in the water cruising around. This guy was actually following me. Like, I was paddling back after a wave in my round 1 heat, and I don't know how long he was there for, but he was just kind of cruising behind me and followed me pretty much all the way from the inside, all the way into the back line, and kind of cruised around with the four of us, with the 4 competitors that were in the heat, and just kind of checked us out, which is pretty cool.
Well, they are very curious, you know, and then, you know, I told a story yesterday, I believe it was to Ryan Hardy, when I was younger, maybe 20 years old or so, at the beach that was closest to my house, which is Salt Creek, which is a pretty well-known spot in Southern California, good waves. We had a seal for a year, maybe 2 years. The same seal hung out in the lineup every day.
Yep.
That was this little home area, and it cruised around, and it would swim around us, check us out every day, swim right up to you. And even sometimes it would come and bump into your leg and stuff underwater, so you'd be paddling after a wave back out in the lineup, and you just feel something hit your leg, and of course it's scary to death.
Absolutely.
You think a shark is trying to grab you. Something. It would bump into you, swim away, pop up 10 feet away from you, just look at you like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
That was me.
He wants to play.
Yeah.
He wants to play.
Just being playful.
Exactly. Thank goodness.
And I've never actually heard of a seal attack. I mean, they do have teeth. I mean, they're kind of like they're like the canines of the sea.
I think in Spanish they're actually called wolves of the sea.
Yeah.
That's their actual direct translation of the name. So
Lobo?
Yeah.
Lobo
I think
de
so.
mar?
That's it. Lobo de mar. Wolf of the sea. You're on it.
Mi español es muy perfecto. Mi padre vive en Los Cabos, Mexico.
Oh yeah, there you
Yo
go.
hablo español.
My Spanish is very rusty. I am trying to learn, and it's been a journey to say the least. And you know what? Back to the seal thing. Let me just talk you through that. I have heard of someone being bit by a seal.
Really?
But they did try and pat it. So let's not go touching the wildlife, because the chances are pretty good that it's going to bite you. So that's like live and learn. And on your screen you have Maury Laverne. Look how serious he is. He's got some beats going in his ears, and
I don't even know if that. Sorry to interrupt you, but I don't even know if that counts as being attacked by a seal. I mean,
no.
You try to pet it, you attack the seal.
Yeah.
Here we go, Jacob Romero. We talked about his ability to do something big on these rights, and what's he going to do right now, Sasha?
He's eyeing out a big section down the bottom.
Look at this.
Let's see what he's got.
Oh, good stick on it.
Wow, that thing was amazing. He had a lofty launch out of the bowl on the right and just caught his rail on the landing. I think that would have been a huge score for Jacob Romero if he had pulled that off.
And how about the anticipation? We talked about his ability to do something big on these rights. We said that he was going to wait for it. He had priority. We're waiting, watching, driving down the line, halfway through the wave, finally boosts our reverse air, and we're going to take another look at it right now, Sasha.
Wow, Jacob Romero, he just kind of sets up here. He's waiting. He's waiting as long as he possibly can, I think, and then just releases at the last moment. Got a big bowl here and such a good reverse air. That was excellent. Maybe a little more rotation would have helped him, or maybe a little further in the flats, which would have given him more time to rotate. But, I mean, that was textbook. I couldn't have done it any better, and I don't think many guys could have.
It's hard to be critical of something like that because it was insane, but it's almost like he hit it a hair too early.
Maybe. I think it was a very difficult section to judge.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't think he could have done much more than what he did. He was just unlucky that he caught rail. Had a bit of a bounce and caught rail on the landing. And, I mean, he's still got a bigger score than Roberto Bruno did on the left. So he's in second place.
Wow, look at that.
So Jacob Romero, I mean, putting on a show, to say the least.
And the good thing about it is you got to respect it because he's landed on the line. He's going for it. He's willing to risk his priority and his the amount of minutes we've gone into the heat to post a big score like that.
Absolutely. A lot of guys would have maybe just come up with a nice roll, first wave of the heat, roll out of the bowl, land, and then maybe a spin in the pocket. And Jacob just risked everything and went for a big punch, a big reverse air. He wanted the big points. That's what he's going for.
Well, he's not really known as a guy who wants to hold back.
Exactly. He's definitely doing what needs to be done. And that's the priority disc right there. So in first priority is blue, and in second priority is Dave Winchester in red. So Roberto Bruno can take any wave he likes out there. Dave Winchester will have to wait for Roberto Bruno to take a wave or paddle for a wave before he is deemed first priority. And Jacob Romero, he probably isn't back in the lineup just yet, but he will be in third priority once he makes it. Oh, there he is, back in the lineup. So he's in third priority. And he can pretty much catch any wave he wants as long as Dave Winchester and Roberto Bruno don't look at it.
Yeah, it's quite a paddle back out there, as you were saying. He got out there pretty quick, though.
He did.
And for the viewers at home who don't understand or haven't ridden big waves very much in their life, the paddle, even though it might be the same distance in meters or feet or yards or whatever you want to call it, it becomes a longer paddle when the waves are big and there's a lot of water moving around because you're not able to travel very fast when you're paddling.
Absolutely. There's so much water rushing in from the Pacific Ocean that you're kind of paddling upstream continuously. So after a wave, you're not only just trying to cover the actual distance that you can see, but also the distance that the water is carrying you back. So you're constantly fighting it.
And Sasha, that brings me to a question that I have for you. Is this one of the more difficult places to paddle and to get out on the World Tour? Or would you say Canary Islands?
I think this is probably more difficult than in the Canary Islands. I mean, front on, the water is so deep around that reef that, I mean, even when it's really big, if you're off the reef, you definitely have nothing to worry about and you're just paddling through open swells. Whereas here, I think if a really big one were to come through and catch you off guard, you could find yourself in some serious trouble. Yeah. Especially if you get washed in.
Look at this. Looks like we have some riders paddling, possibly. I don't know. Again, on the next heat, Amaury Laverne in red, Magno Passos, and Renato Arellano will be in the blue.
This is a serious heat. Magno Passos, a very powerful competitor.
I was gonna ask you about how would you compare Porto Escondido? Would you say that's the most difficult place on tour as far as paddling and getting caught inside? I mean, I have some experience there in big waves, and to me, that's the hardest place I've ever had to paddle out or get back outside at.
Absolutely.
As I see Dave Winchester. So answer that question when we come back. So Dave Winchester, Australian rider, he has won here before. He is fearless at Arica, and he's driving on this right-hander, Sasha.
He sets up a little speed check turn, and he's coming down to this end section here, and a
nice roll.
Big roll. And
great extension and great projection.
Yeah, Judge is going to love that. That was super clean. And yeah, Dave Winchester will be in a very commanding position after that wave. And there's a nice little speed check turn when he set up for that section. He could see it from far away, I think. and he knew he had to burn a bit of speed to be in the right place. Here's a little replay.
So take a look at it. Winnie, like we said, he's won here before. Had some great battles at GT. Going around that section, being nice and patient, just keeping his speed up.
This little turn here just sets him up, and he just burns a little bit of speed. He doesn't want to be going too fast. Gets him just in the right place for this nice roll bowl, if you want to call it that. And
I mean, the projection, the air, the extension, there was a classic roll.
Absolutely. It was
so
very
should
nice.
Be a solid score there for Dave Winchester, who gets a 5.83 on that wave. So Dave Winchester in the lead with 15 minutes to go. He has a total of 11.96. Romero in third with 3.5, and Roberto Bruno in third with 3.13.
So this heat is still wide open for either Jacob Romero or Roberto Bruno. They could both overtake Dave Winchester at any point in time, catching 2 decent waves. And I hear the crowd whistling on the beach. I don't know if there's a set coming or anything like that, but
well, pretty much all day long there's a set coming.
It looks like the competitors are scrambling for the horizon. There could be something coming.
They're paddling with some urgency.
Yes, trying to get somewhere, that's for sure. And you can see the guys just having a look, but not liking that. And, there might be something of consequence behind this one. That is a seriously big set coming through here. Let's see if anyone is in position and willing to take off on this. It doesn't look like it. And while these guys are positioning themselves, I'm going to get to your question that you were saying about Puerto Escondido in Mexico. You know, I spent a couple of months there in the last 2 years, and it's an experience.
When the waves are big there.
Outer body experience when you get caught inside there. Like, you don't know if you kind of feel like you're going to die. The water is really warm. It doesn't float you very well. You can't wear a wetsuit because you'd be too hot. So you're just in board shorts. And it is so incredibly powerful. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, the rip current that pulls out. Now, people need to understand there's currents that go side to side on the beach, and then sometimes when you have some really big waves, at certain breaks, you'll have a current that pulls back out to the ocean.
Yep.
And that's what Puerto Escondido has. It has like an undertow, it's called, that pulls you from the beach towards the sea. And when the sets come in, normally you can get hit by big waves and pushed in towards the beach where it's safer.
Yep.
Puerto Escondido is a different story. You get hit by big waves there, you get pushed in, then you pop up, and it sucks you back out into the impact zone and starts it all over again. And you can do that for 10 waves in a row when it's 20, 25 feet on the face, and it's not a very fun experience, is it?
No, that definitely isn't. It's a very powerful break, and it's looking actually very similar to what Jacob Romero is taking off here.
Look at this. Jacob Romero, he has a 3.58, wants to improve on it. He had that big reverse 360 air. And is he going to be able to do anything? Look at this.
He's kind of setting up for something similar here, I think. And nice power roll through the roof.
Wow.
And can he hold on? Can he hold on? He's in some serious whitewater here. And, I think he just got churned up. I don't know if the judges are going to score that as complete. They might have a slightly different view. So we'll see what they deem him for that wave. And that's the kind of stuff that happens in Porto as well,
Yeah.
The waves are so powerful, and like you said, there's this undertow and so many uncontrollables that you can't harness, and that's the kind of stuff you have to deal with.
Let's take a look at the replay. Good size wave. Not quite a gigantic set for the day, but still a good size wave. Look at this section. A lot of speed there with Jacob. And punching through that rough. Wow. Beautiful roll. Yeah,
he had a great roll. I think it's just a pity this thing wedged together a little bit like that, and it might have just pushed him off. I hope for his sake the judges do deem that as scored, because he did kind of ride through that a fair bit.
Yeah, he was in the white water on top of his board for a while.
Yep. And we'll see what the judges give him for that. So it looks like the judges didn't give him the score as completed.
Yeah, Jacob Romero, 2.88 for that wave. He's in second place with a 6.46 total. I mean, he's basically looking to replace both those waves still.
Absolutely, and I think he will. I definitely think he will,
Well, we only have 11 minutes to go, so time is counting down.
Yep. And Roberto Bruno is having a look here. He likes the left side here. I think the left side is strong.
Look at this.
His strong point, and he's
the
eyeing
Brazilian
out a
rider.
section. I can see how he's looking up the face, and that one just kind of fizzled out for him, and he's just rolling through that exceptionally powerful section that wedged up behind him. I mean, he would have just got steamrolled as that wave came together.
And he is close to the inside.
I hope he's okay there. He looked like he was under for quite a while, and I'm sure he's all right. He's a He's very comfortable in big waves coming from Brazil. They have some crazy big beach breaks and slabs over there.
Yes.
And he looks
Once
very comfortable.
again, check out the replay. Dropping in, Roberto Bruno dropping in, hooking in, and just really the wave didn't offer a bowl or a barreling section for him. So he just elected to throw that roll off that oncoming section, but it wasn't able to pop out in front of the white water. So I don't expect to see too big of a score for Roberto Bruno on that wave either.
No. And I know what he was actually looking for there. When he took off, I could see him looking right up at the lip, just over his shoulder over here.
He's going to pop a roll right away.
That's what I thought. I thought he was thinking just take off, stay in the pocket, roll out of the bowl, and then maybe even just pull off that end section and not hit it. But I think out of desperation, he just wanted to get a score and try to roll off that end section. And it didn't really pay off for him. The judges only gave him a 2.13. So he's going to want to replace that as well. He's still finding himself in third place. And I don't think either of his scores are going to be counting waves at the end of this heat. 9 minutes and 35 seconds remaining, and there is plenty to happen out here today. This is round 3, heat number 1 of that round, and there's going to be 8 heats in round 3. It's pretty much going to be an action-packed day of events here. And we see Dave Winchester just having a look at this one. He's going to opt to go right, and he's just kind of staying slow. He's just released the rail now. He's full speed going down the bottom. And
wow, look at that big invert.
Big invert out of the bowl. And that's kind of what Dave Winchester does out here. You know, I want to almost say that's his go-to move on the right. He comes with those big inverts, and that is how he won out here last year. You know, barrels and inverts. So here's a replay.
Insane. Winnie, like we said, he's a guy that, you know, just has this place wired. Boom, perfect timing, perfect invert. I mean, it looks like the back of a T-shirt.
It does, it was perfect. His timing is incredible out here. I mean, those rights are so difficult to judge when you're taking off. And he somehow knew to keep it slow in the beginning and release just at the right time to approach the bowl when it is at its steepest and at the perfect angle to give him that launch. So,
and that comes back to like we were talking about earlier, is like your wave knowledge and your wave judgment.
Yep.
So we have scores coming through. Winchester with a 7.75, so commanding lead for him. Jacob Romero is in combo land. He has a 3.5 and a 2.8. Roberto Bruno 3.1 and a 2.1. So Dave Winchester really the only rider in this heat who's been able to cope with these challenging conditions.
Absolutely. You know, Jacob Romero and Roberto Bruno are both pretty much fighting for second place. That's all they're going to be looking for. They're not really worrying about catching Dave Winchester. They just want to make it through this heat at this point.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure a lot of the other riders that are here getting ready for their heats today, they've been keeping a close eye on Winnie and seeing how he performs. And right here, Jacob Romero.
Yeah, look at the barrel. Driving. Big barrel right there. Is he going to find a roll section? I bet he will. ARS.
He does those in his sleep, Jacob Romero. He's got them down pat. And that's going to be a really good
That's going to be a high-scoring
score.
wave. I mean, he is comboed as far as how far he's behind from Dave Winchester. But that's going to bring him right up there.
Absolutely.
That's got to be, I'm guessing, a high 7.
I reckon definitely in the 7s. Here you can see how he takes off. He kind of stalls in the beginning. He sees it's going to barrel, but cautiously, I don't think he wants to get too deep because he knows there's going to be a section at the end. And he races out of it, releases the rail, and here he just finds just the perfect corner pretty much for a nice, clean ARS. And the judge is going to like that. It's good execution.
I think so, too.
And nice and smooth, nice transitioning.
Some redemption right there for Jacob Romero after those other two rights where, you know, he had some okay maneuvers, but not really what he wanted. And that is more indicative of the skills of Jacob Romero and the sheer charging nature of the Hawaiian.
Absolutely. And, yeah, once we have a score for that, we'll let you know what the judges gave him. You can see another set coming through here. Winnie is in position for this.
Already.
To go. This is a solid wave.
I can't believe he's already back on this one.
He's keen. And he's had 2 good waves now. He's just having fun. Wow, this is a seriously solid inside section that he has to deal with.
Oh, just kind of comes around it, unfortunately.
I think it just went a bit fat for him. He might have just been a little bit too far off the reef, and that one just kind of ran off into deep water.
It's very unfortunate that Winnie couldn't find anything to hit on that. He's just driving forever, and looking for a lip or a barrel to pop himself into, and just never materialized for him. So, nonetheless, Jacob Romero in second place, Still waiting for a score on his third wave. Roberto Bruno in third place. He needs a 3.34 to move on into advancing position. Otherwise, he is done for the Arica Chilean Challenge. Remember, this event brought to you by the Municipalidad de Arica, as well as Tomate's Surf Shop. And we also have to thank Mike Stewart's Science Bodyboards, Movie Star, and Lawn Airlines for helping to make this amazing event here in Arica be possible. And it's the 10th anniversary, which is a great thing.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be here today and for this entire event and to be a part of it. It's kind of a milestone in bodyboarding history, and it's an awesome event. The guys have put on a great show, and thanks to all the sponsors and the people who've made it possible. Back to Jacob Romero. I think he's going to be out of combo land once that score comes through. I think he's going to be in striking distance of first place, and Dave Winchester is going to have to start looking for another score if he wants to keep that pole position.
Yeah, for sure. And here comes a score for Dave Winchester, a 7.75. No, that was a wave earlier. I'm sorry.
That's right. That was his previous wave, that invert. So we're just waiting for some scores to drop for Jacob Romero, and let's see what the judges give him.
So we're here in the priority scale right now. So Roberto Bruno does have priority, so he's in a good position. He only needs a 3.34, which is really not a big score.
Well, that is before we have had a score from Jacob Romero.
Correct.
I think he's going to drop a pretty decent score. So once we get that, we'll see what Roberto Bruno requires to stay live.
Sorry about that. It's taking a little bit longer to get Jacob's score, so I forgot about it as I was taking a look at some of our fans' comments and questions on the IBA Facebook page. Remember, you guys, you should be signed up to our Facebook page, IBA World Tour. Also, you should be subscribed to our YouTube page, IBA World Tour. Also, you should be checking out our website every day, IBAWorldTour.com, as well as following us on Twitter and Instagram.
All right. I know that the score hasn't come up on your screen just yet that you can see riders, but I have a little inside scoop, and let me tell you, Jacob Romero is in striking distance of Dave Winchester. He got a 7.13 for that last wave, where he rode through the gaping part of that barrel and did a nice ARS off the end section. So he's going to be happy with that. It solidifies his second place. And
here we go.
Here we
Mr. Winchester, former champion.
His answer back. Let's see what he's got. He's going extremely fast.
Driving. Is he going to come out the other side?
I don't think so.
Oh, he does!
My goodness, that was incredible. I had him as incomplete on that. I thought he got caught behind that curtain.
And he's still going.
He's not finished with this.
He might do one more spin or another roll possibly, or just pop out the back. He does.
Negotiate with some serious chop there. Dave Winchester.
We talked about he's hurting feelings out there, and that's
he's doing the Houdini. He had me fooled, that's for sure.
He had a disappearing act, and he reappeared. Once again, let's take a look at Winchester. Remember, Jacob Romero got a 7.13. He needs a 6.76 to move into advancing position, and then Dave Winchester comes back with this beauty of a backdoor section. Check it out.
He's got some serious drive here. And he chooses a good line. Here it looks like, I thought he got caught behind that massive explosion that you saw, and he somehow was able to just push through that and drive his way over that last bumpy section and get out into deep water. I don't know how he did that. That is mind-blowing stuff. And straight into action.
Oh,
Jacob Romero.
A roller at the top pops it up.
I don't know what the beginning of that wave looked like, but he's been busy.
He's looking to get rid of a 3.58.
I think he did.
Whoa, look at that.
A roll and a little ARS.
Oh, not quite able to hold on, and that might be the difference with only a minute and 38 seconds remaining.
He just got rocked around by that white water.
And again, Roberto Bruno needs a 7.58 to advance. Nice big roll there at the top.
Not very critical roll, but definitely something that Jacob Romero can work with. If you look at what he's got counting right now, a 3.58. So that's all he was trying to replace. And I got a feeling he might just replace that score with that next.
If he does, you know, I don't think he's gonna improve upon it by much. He might only improve upon it by a little bit, especially because he wasn't able to hold on through that last little ARS. That's just my guess. Remember, Sasha and I aren't judges. We just are up here to give our opinions and tell you what's going on, who, what, where, and when, and tell you what we think. And like I said, I think Jacob will improve upon his score, but not by much.
Yep. He's definitely not going to be catching Dave Winchester, especially after that last wave that he had. So we're just going to wait for all those scores to lock in, and then you can see a very current and updated situation that is unfolding here in the last dying 30 seconds of this heat. And Jacob Romero did actually improve his score. He got a 4.88. That score will pop up on your screen soon. We just have a little inside scoop here. There we go, as the scores have dropped in. Dave Winchester with a 6.83 for that barrel, and Jacob Romero for a 4.88.
And the time is winding down 5 seconds ago. And just like I said, Jacob improved a little bit, 4.88. Total score, 12.01. Roberto Bruno, the Brazilian, is done for this event. We're going to see him in either Antofagasta or in Rio. But Dave Winchester, again, with a 6.1, a 5.8, a 7.7, and a 6.8. I mean, he had 4 waves that would have won this heat for him.
Yep. He only caught one wave pretty much that he didn't want, which was that 1.93.